And welcome back to Wandering Through Wayne's World. You know, every so often something new comes along and they find a breakthrough or they find a new therapy to make us healthier. And with me is Laura Barnes from Southern Salt Therapies.
Yes, you got it right.
Okay, so about this salt therapy and salt rooms have come about, how long ago did they really start?
So here in America, it is more recent, definitely a newer therapy here in the United States, but it's been around for centuries in Poland. And they started this, they found them in salt caves, and they figured that the salt mine workers were having zero illnesses, just things they were so healthy, their lungs were clear, they were avoiding illnesses that were being passed around to other people. So they started studying them. They figured out it was actually the salt caves that were creating such immunity in these people.
So we're not talking about Morton salt that you buy in Publix?
No.
Okay. So is it a special kind of salt?
So the salt in the salt cave was just natural salt, and salt's formed all around the world. Obviously, it has to have salt water in order to have the salt. So caves form, it's that kind of therapy, but different salt comes from different parts of the world. Himalayan pink salt that is being thrown out there all the time.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Only comes from Pakistan. So if you're getting pink salt and it says China on it, you don't want it because that's not where it's coming from.
Spray painted.
Celtic gray salt only comes from 2 areas in the world, and that's from France and down in South America. So
well, what's the best salt to buy now that you mentioned? Like, okay, so you have salt room.
I do.
What kind of salt do you use?
So I have pink salt on the floor and on the wall, but in the therapy itself, which is a generator that pumps in dry micronized particles of salt, and all it simply means is essentially the salt is the size of your pores. So your skin can absorb it, but more importantly, so your lungs and your nasal cavity can actually inhale them and express anything that would be in there. So I use a pharmaceutical grade salt.
Okay.
And that is for not only FDA purposes, but the generator cannot tolerate any type of mineral or metal content in it.
Interesting.
Pure salt.
Why did you decide to do this?
So I grew up in here in South Florida with allergies. I remember getting allergy shots at a young age. We also, unfortunately, I became ill when I was around 5th grade, and I remember being in Shands all the time. And so from that point on, it was such an aggressive treatment. And even when I went back in my 30s, early 30s, to do a checkup, they were like, you know, we're so sorry that you had to go through such aggressive treatment. We don't do that anymore. So it was kind of just being thrown into a very aggressive medical treatment for a large part of my life kind of made me start looking, well, you know, people survived for thousands of years. There's got to be natural ways to do things and to be healthier.
So I'm going to guess, like, and you guys have been with us a long time, you know, gluten has become an issue for people, okay, and people get allergies and are finding out that these things are just bad for them, lactose intolerance, okay. So why does someone, so we heard that over the years they found salt to be beneficial. Why, like it benefits and gets in your system, but I would think because it's all this dust in the room, because it looks like dust?
It does. So essentially it is a micronized particle, which most good salt therapy places have a micronized particle that's being dispersed into the air. It is so small that even if you are tasting a small amount on your lips, it should only be a small amount, it is not going to be able to affect blood pressure per se. My father has high blood pressure and he's in there often and he has 0 issues.
Okay, so you said you had pink salt on the floor. What about the walls?
We also have pink Himalayan salt blocks on the walls.
Okay, so really the room, so the room is all salt, basically.
The room is pretty much all salt. We have one major wall that is the salt bricks, the floor obviously, and then you're just reclining in the room. You're surrounded by about, I think we calculated it was about 12,000 pounds of salt in the room. And that does not include obviously the generator, which is pumping in.
How long does one stay in a room?
So you're in there for 45 minutes and you are in a very relaxing meditative environment. We have leather reclining chairs. We give complimentary blankets because we do keep it cool in there to keep the humidity from Florida out. So you're in there for 45 minutes and you're just relaxing. Most people sleep or read. We try to discourage any technological use while in the room for other people to relax as well.
You know, what's interesting is, and I've been in a salt room before. The one I went into was very uncomfortable, to say the least. I had like a beach chair that I was sitting on. But you guys know I have ADHD, so for me to just be able to sit there and meditate, very, very difficult for me. But if you put me in a comfortable chair, I might not be able to meditate, but surely my eyes will close, okay? And I will get that relaxed, I would think.
Well, we can even do one step better. We also offer far infrared heated gemstone match, or essentially a biomat. So while you're in the chair, this heated mat actually works with your circulatory system. It has 3 therapies in one, and it works to bring circulation to points in your body that need maybe more healing per se. It works to detox the body as well. So
how many people go in the room at one time?
We can fit up. We do have parties. For example, on Saturday night we have a Sip and Salt coming up where we serve organic wines, organic cheese, and we have a group that come in, and half of them are in the salt room and they get a massage while they're in the room, and then the other half are out sipping and eating and talking, and they make a pink Himalayan salt scrub with essential oils.
Okay.
So we can fit up to 10 people in that room, but we usually keep it around 7 to 8.
They would be bothered by me snoring, but over and above that, we could just like kind of pass that. But
most people don't.
But that's really good. So you really make it an experience.
Yes.
More than just, hey, I'm going to go in there for salt therapy.
Right. So we've seen tremendous results in the last really 4 months with COPD. Lupus has been a huge one that we actually see improvements that very day after the session. Asthma and allergies. So we want it to be obviously serve its medical purpose and that natural healing. However, we want you to come back. We want you to be relaxed. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to just love being there.
Okay, so you're there 45 minutes. You just come just as you are.
Just as you are.
Okay, so you can come at your lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are your hours?
So our hours are Monday through Friday, 10 until 6:30. We do have a lunch break in between around 1 and 2:30 that we do shut down, and we start to stagger for the afternoon. Our session times are 10, 11, and 12, and then again 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, and 5:30. We want to hit that 5 o'clock crowd getting off of work too. On Saturday we're open 10 to 5, and we start a session every hour on the hour.
Okay, so does someone reserve the time?
You can reserve the time. We do like to encourage people actually reserving or making an appointment. However, we can take walk-ins.
My next question that I have to ask you is that how often does one go? Once a week, once a day, once a month?
It's a great question, and we get this question all the time. And it's very important if you have an acute condition, meaning you have a cold, you're just coming down with having the flu, you're on the backside of the flu. You can't come in the salt room if you have a fever or anything contagious. But if you are having an acute symptom, we do recommend anywhere from 2 to 5 days being in the salt room. And that would be once a day for 45 minutes. If it's a chronic condition, when we're talking allergies, asthma, COPD, emphysema, any one of those, we recommend buying a monthly membership, which an unlimited monthly membership is $99, and you can come up to 2 sessions a day if you needed to, 6 days a week. And we start to recommend come for a month, come as often as possible. We try to make a minimum of 3 times during the week, and because you want to see those results. And
right.
If you're not consistent, you won't get the results that you're looking for.
And I mean, I totally get that scenario. The whole idea is when you do something, no matter what you do, you want to see results.
Right.
How do people find you? You have a website?
I do. We are on southernsalttherapies.com. Our Facebook page is also Southern Salt Therapies. That's pretty much one of the main grounds where we post, hey, we've got yoga coming up in the salt room Monday from 1 to 2. So we kind of throw it out there on Facebook a little bit more than we do on the website. You can call us at 772-877-2128.
And where are you located?
We are located in St. Lucie West, directly across from Met Stadium on University Boulevard.
Oh, very cool. You know, guys, sometimes the things that seem the simplest work the best. And I think we've lost the idea of those simple things.
Yes.
Oh, you guys know me and the cough because of my lungs. And I remember being a kid, and Mom would take Vicks and put it in water and boil it, and then it was called a tent. They put it over my head. You don't hear those things anymore. But when I get a cough, I still do it because it works for me. Everybody is different, and they think, well, you got to take this drug and this drug and this drug. Sometimes we just got to get back to nature and,
Exactly.
and what is beneficial to all.
A lot of times those are just Band-Aids, and your physician doesn't have 2 hours in his day to sit there and go over through all of your symptoms and all that's going on with your body. And unfortunately, we are in such a rush, and they're in such a rush that they can't spend that time with you, not only going over, hey, here's what's wrong, but here's how we're going to change it. We're going to give you, it has to be a lifestyle change, you know, and doctors are so rushed, and it's not their fault with all that they have on their plate, but really they need to have that appointment with the doctor. They need to be able to have that lifestyle change. Maybe it's a dietitian that they need to have a conversation with, or even an athletic trainer, somebody that needs to go ahead and follow through and ensure that whatever symptom you're going through is actually being treated properly. And we've walked away from that. We have, unfortunately.
We definitely have. Guys, check out Southern Salt Therapies. Laura, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you.
It was a pleasure, guys. We'll be right back. Don't forget, check them out. We'll be right back.